Today is Parlons Design episode 400. For the occasion, I received Marcel Weekes, Figma VP Engineering. Thanks to Figma Paris team, we discuss freely during 10 minutes about Figma Make, Figma Design, and the future of AI. No joke, it shares some nice insights and secrets with us. I hope you will enjoy the episode.
Parlons. Design. Parlons. Design. Design.
Parlons Design saison 8 est sponsorisé par User Testing, la plateforme pour comprendre les besoins de vos audiences et pour identifier les irritants présents sur vos interfaces. Thank you, Marcel, for being here and to give me a bit of your time to chat about Figma, Figma Make, Figma Design, Figma AI. We just have 10 to 15 minutes, but we'll try to go deep in this question. So we'll start directly with a Figma Make question for you. It seems like at the beginning it was thought as the next step after mockups, mostly to push the mockups more deeply with an advanced prototype. But in my daily use, I love to use it as a starting point where I have nothing. I try to build something with Figma Make. It's already really nice for that. The ideal world for me will be to be able to do that and then still be able to tweak it as in Figma Design with all the power of my component properties, my variables, my text styles. What do you think out of that?
So first of all, thank you very much for having me. I would start by saying we have seen different people use Make in very different ways. Some people do, as you say, use it as a starting point and jumping off. They will come up with something and then bring that back into Figma Design and iterate on it directly with direct manipulation, or perhaps take it into code and start editing the code directly. Other people use it as a step two. They'll actually design something, drop it into Make, and ask for that to become now something they can iterate via prompt. And what we see is from the idea to production, there are multiple ways to refine what you've got. You might want to use direct manipulation for something where you've already made a big investment and you have your colors and styles and you're using a color picker, or using any of our custom tools within Figma Design. You might want to continue to prompt if that's the way that is most comfortable for you. Or if you're a developer, you might want to jump right into the code and make tweaks there as well. Change values at that point. So we're seeing all of that as different ways to get in. I'd say to your second part of the question about how do you get into sort of doing the things you want to do at a higher level of fidelity.
A closer collaboration between what we have in Figma Design and what we...
So today what we do, and it started just about a week ago that we provide this capability, you can export your Make and then bring it into Figma Design, at which point it gets converted into layers. And you have access to then leverage all the tools of design. So you can start using your variables, your styles, your tokens, and applying them to the design there. The next step for us, which we've got not yet implemented, is then bringing that from design into Make. So we will be working on round tripping that shortly. But the first thing we heard loud and clear from our user base was, we want to go from, as soon as I've done something in Make, I want to keep iterating, but now I want to do it in design. And this is true because the majority of our users today are designers. A third of our users are designers. The majority of the people who initially used Make were designers. We are now seeing that change very quickly, where we've got a lot of product managers using Make. And while they may want to go into design to make some tweaks, they're not necessarily using the design system just yet. So we're looking at other ways of bringing the design system into Make to begin with, so that what gets built is using your design system and you don't have to go over to Figma Design to use that.
Right. So step one, step two, both are taken into account and the interoperability is improving over time.
Yes, interoperability is core to what we're doing next, as you would imagine, and it is not something that is. It turns out to be a harder challenge than most people might appreciate. So there's some hard work going on there to do that in a way that's not lossy.
I can imagine. We can even project us in step 3. We can dream of deploying part of what we built with Figma Make into a real product, like a block inside a real product? Is it something that we can imagine in real life? Is it something that you already tried to play with?
This is something you could definitely imagine. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
So,
Love this answer. We'll keep looking at it. Great. Then to go back to the core product, Figma Design, at the beginning, and I think it may have been a bit scary for some designer, we thought about the assistant, which is in Figma Design and which work along you or for you. Is it still something that you are working on? Is Figma Make your alternative to this magic AI assistant?
no, you will see assistant within Figma Design. It will appear there, and it'll allow, you can see this now with our initial foray into this, which is prompt to edit inside of Figma Design. Once you've got something in Figma Design, you can now use just AI to edit anything within the design. But you can imagine we're then going to go from that to actually creating it from scratch and doing all of those things there. So you'll definitely see an assistant in Figma Design. Hopefully not in a scary way for designers, but something that is going to just superpower like what they already do today, and give them more of a creative sort of partner to try out things and see if they like it in a fast manner. And then they can always iterate on that again more directly. But I'd like to see a tool that allows designers to sort of almost pair design with the assistant.
Okay, I'm pretty interested in that. And what was interesting for the design community is that when you at Figma, you started to integrate AI in the product, it was with a very specific approach. Maybe we had something like Gembot first, which was a simplified access to the AI, then some smart integrations, find similar screens, which is super deep, but just it fit with a real use case. Just earlier, we saw Alexia, which used the quick translate in Figma.
Yes.
Where does this approach of not doing AI like all the other companies came from? Why did you choose not to pick the easy way of directly a chat box?
Well, I would say it's like the rest of our roadmap, it's very much influenced by the users. We are effectively following users here on what they have expressed as where they would like to see something or where they have a current pain today. Another thing that we launched using AI was rename layers. And that was something that was very well received by the community. I don't think many people were asking for that, but what we heard loud and clear was people found it tedious to name layers themselves. So we could hear the sort of friction and turn that into what the solution should be. So what we keep doing is listening to our customers to find out what is the next thing they'd like, even if they're not explicitly asking for a solution. If they're pointing out where there's friction, we can look and see if we can apply AI here.
And practically, do you have some tips for product manager, product designers who try to take the same approach and protest against the default AI integration?
Figma's in a unique situation in that we build software, but then we build that software for people who are building software. So I know that some people look to us to see what patterns we're employing. And what I would say is it's very early days. We are trying out different patterns. You see that we're not just using the chat box. We are using other things as well. And I think what I would offer up to people is to explore and try things out. There's going to be a lot of different approaches. And it's not that one approach will win. It's that we will find most likely one or two approaches for each type of task. But right now, I don't even think we've classified all those tasks. There's going to be like, are you editing? Are you creating? Are you ideating? You mentioned Jambot. Thank you for having used that. That was, we learned a lot from that. I don't know if you recall, we had a tone dial that was part of that where we had language and you could use the tone to make text in a box sort of more friendly, shorten it, make it more formal, etc. And it was an affordance that we hadn't seen yet. It was sort of this dial as opposed to a chat box and say, make it shorter. So I think we will continue to experiment with that. I would suggest to PMs and designers who are looking at this, try things out, try other tools, but try and experiment with it and see if it sticks.
Right. And measurement then is by quantitative data or direct user interview. How did you decide then?
It's a bit of both. We definitely see what people are using in the product through analytics, and also what they're trying to do. But it's easy to misinterpret data, especially if you're like very far removed from the user. So we are always following up by asking users directly. And sometimes you have to be careful how you ask a user something. If you ask it first, is this the solution you want? You're going to get a yes or no answer. But if you ask what is the problem you're having, you'll get a deeper understanding of that and then can iterate on that with the solution in a way that isn't as constrained.
Right. I think there is something which also looks like an experiment, but a big one. Recently, you announced being one of the first app in ChatGPT. It starts with what I can call basic FigJam integration. What are the next steps for this ChatGPT application, Figma ChatGPT application?
We're very excited about what we've done so far and some of the initial feedback. We're going to process that and then decide what we'll do next there. We've not yet made a decision.
Oh, okay. It takes the sense out.
This is real time. That was 6 days ago. Yeah. It's we're still seeing it come in, the information.
We'll be super interested in the next step. I think we are coming to an end. Quickly, as a conclusion, for the product community, what's your take on how a product should integrate AI in their strategy?
So my take here would be that people should be intentional about how they are deploying AI. I think this is that's non-controversial as a statement, but I think what's maybe the tension here is that everyone has to get AI into their app so that they can do what they want to do next. Like, you're not going to be taken seriously if you don't have an AI angle. Sort of, what's your AI angle? That's somewhat unfair to put on some product. Not every product needs to be an AI empowered interface or product. But if there is a reason to use AI in your product, finding the right way to do it, and actually not surfacing AI for AI's sake, but actually almost just having it be your job as the developer, as a product developer, is to provide a solution and optimize workflows for your users. It is not to expose them to the latest technology. You might be using the latest technology, but you don't have to expose them to that. Instead, tie it into the workflow that is most appropriate, whether that's existing or new, for the solution that your customers are trying to implement there.
Thank you a lot, Marcel.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Parlons design. Parlons design. Design. Parlons.